doesn't get all boggy like a 48 trail engine motor. Look at that, it just turned 1,000 miles. So that's a good time to start doing a review. This EVO is not stock, it's got the front shocks off 2014 600 that I had. I had to buy what they call bushings in order to fit them on the front. And then, so the stock shocks are just sitting in a box. The rear shocks, what's really great about the EVO, the short track EVO, which this one is, you take your limiter straps off the back, you get a longer limiter strap for the front arm, and you have full travel. Because that's all that's squatting down in the back end of the limiter straps. They got a short one on the front arm, a short one on the back. Oh, I need to turn here. And you don't need to get longer shocks for the rear suspension. Very nice. Put stiffer springs on the rear torsion springs because it was just way too soft. I like the machine a lot. It's not been perfect. But it's really fun. I'm sitting here focusing on talking. It's just really fun to ride. It's places that you might not ride your higher performance machines because of the way the power comes on, or they're long, so 121. You know, you get a 136 through here, doesn't turn nearly as sharp. This is a pretty spot. So 1,005 miles. So this is a short track EVO. It's got the 121. It's just under an inch, I believe, like 0.91. As you can see, there's no limiter strap on the rear scissors. The stock one went from the bottom link to the top one and squished it down. You can remove that completely, get full travel. So it's got a full length rear shock, and what they did to squish it down is they just had a really short limiter strap. But unfortunately it's too short if you want to get full travel. But either go buy a limiter strap or just go find some that'll work, and then you get full travel. So that's like basically a free or a really low cost modification you can do. Front suspension, if you want full travel, you've got to get longer shocks. It's an RMK front end. One guy wrote me, he said, have you seen any rubbing? And I have not noticed anything, but let's check that out. When I go full, well, I don't know. It's not touching. Let's check the other side. I think it's just really close to touching, but it looks like I'm doing okay. Do I even see paint rubbed off? Doesn't seem like it. So anyway, that sway bar it's out of one of my machines. It's either, I think it's out of the RMK, that 13600 RMK I have. Anyhow, so get sidetracked in that. The stock skis are super narrow. Like I said, I don't like them, but they do work if you're riding a lot of trails. You got smaller kids, they're a lot easier to turn because they're rockered, and a rockered ski basically looks like a banana, like that. So there's your rocker, and so you have a lot less of the bottom of the skis actually touching the ground, so therefore you have less ski to try to turn. But with them being narrow, these tend to knife in and unpack snow. So I think I'm going to do a future video, take those off and put different skis on, and try to demonstrate the difference. So an issue I had with this, two issues on this side. First issue that happened was the electric start quit working. While I have the side panel open, the plastic they use is a thinner, cheaper plastic on these fan cooleds than on the liquid cooleds. They're also shaped differently. I think they're a little bit fatter to scoop more air. So an issue I had with this, it was this particular part of the wiring harness, it melted because it couldn't get, the ground wasn't The factory ground didn't work out very well. And see right there behind the, see that Phillips head screw? That's a different screw I had to put in. So Polaris, what they do is they grounded part of the starter system to the engine, which would be fine, except they use a plastic shroud over the engine where the recoil goes on, and then there's a metal sleeve inside that plastic, but doesn't make that great of a connection, so it went to seat ground somewhere else, which it then fried that. Anyway, I put the new one on. I live 250 miles away from the dealer, so my stuff breaks unless it's like an engine blew up or something, which I haven't had happen. They were nice. They sent me the part. I replaced it, sent the part. They needed to see the part back. So Hatcher past Polaris, they were really good. One thing I should have done during that, and I failed to, the battery crapped out, and it crapped out right away. And so I don't have electric start in this thing. I need to put a different battery in it. I don't know why the battery crapped out. And if I'd, because I mailed the harness back, I just trying to plan a trip to, when I'm driving through Wasilla, to haul the battery. I didn't feel like shipping it anyway. So the battery went out on me pretty soon. It was within the warranty period at some point. So that was junk. During a cross-country race, my son raced this. That's why we lifted it up and gave it full travel. And I actually had a set of Walker Evans shocks all the way around on this thing. But then I put these that were sitting in a box off my 600 Indy back on it. They actually ride a lot cushier. I don't have to rebuild them. Anyway, so when he was racing it, he warped the brake discs. This is some used one I got off eBay for really cheap. It's been working fine. I didn't want to buy, I think the new brake disc was pretty expensive. The problem with it is, and it's not made for racing, so I'm not criticizing this in any way, but he did the one race and he warped the disc, and there's just no airflow getting to it. Plus you've got this hot exhaust right next to it, and there's no vents. This vent's for heat going out. There's no scoop to draw air to that like there is on the higher end models. You've got a scoop here, but that is ducted to bring nice cool air into the engine. So, and I think on my 600 Indy, I think this was the scoop, that it had a duct that went to the brake. So chances are a few people will have that issue like we did, but that's what happens. It's no big deal for racing. Kind of cool. They gave me a little Hatcher Pass logo. Oh, come on. I don't really like these. Oh, there it is. I really don't like these kind of fasteners. They're always kind of a headache to get in. So it's got the old style, what is it got, sliding, I forget what is in here. Anyway, it looks like a style clutch from the 1970s. I mean, if you guys familiar with Polaris, even in 87, when the 340 Sport Indy first came out, it had an open face clutch on it. And well, they went to this style. I forget the brand, CV something. I don't remember the company's name. The clutch has been working fine. I don't have any complaints about it. I would say it's a lower performance clutch, but it's been working okay. So, but it is steel. Well, it's not hot, but of course we weren't riding. Of course, that trail I just came on wasn't really working it, but in any case, it's a cheaper style. Hopefully it's lower maintenance. We haven't had any belt burning issues or anything like that. It's just been fine. Anything else? There's your spare belt there. So when you put these on, you just kind of have to make sure that it catches. There we go. So this would be where the warm air is coming out right here, and it's kind of nice. You got your goggles are fogged up or something. You can just put them there, warm your hands up. I like fan cooled sleds. So the bars are actually seem narrower than your standard handlebar. They're comfortable. I just noticed they're a little narrower. It went to the old style flat steering post, which I think actually the RMKs use a similar thing. At least it came with a bar pad. You know, it's plastic, won't bust your face out. I don't know why they're not putting them on the bar pads on the new matrix sleds. I don't care for that. It's got the older style switches on it. There's your park brake. It's got hydraulic brakes. They work really good. You have reverse. One of the modifications you do, these cut out at 50 miles an hour with, there's a governor, it's electronic, and there's a wire you can disconnect, and I think it's blue with a white stripe. I don't remember. I'm just going to link my video that I did when I documented this stuff too, because I don't remember exactly. It wasn't hard. We ended up taking the shroud out, or the tank shroud out all the way to disconnect it. Then you eliminate your electronic governor, and then you get full speed. But then you also need to get a different throttle. This one is off of 600 Indy. That 14 that I had. And it was from, you know, it's a factory throttle. It's got the thumb warmer in it. I think the price went up on them now from what I paid. I think I answered a question on my other video about it. I think they're up to, I almost thought they were close to $70 or some ridiculous thing. So you got your key. Here's your choke. And then we put a tether on it for racing, and it wasn't very hard. Mounted right there. And then you also had, they had the tail in there. You just plugged it in. So that was super simple. But it's a nice sled. One thing I don't like, I hate this when they went to the stupid way on a bunch of them sleds where they went with a two-wheel rear axle. If you put a lot of miles on them, you'll have bearings go out. And I've been on a ride and went boom, there went my wheel, right? And on my old trail Indy, and I was able to get home because I still had 3 more wheels. Well, this, you lose a bearing, you're on one wheel, chances are you're going to be rubbing on your track. I hate these two-wheel type setups. They put them on mountain sleds to make it easier to carve. Well, in my mind, they have no place on trail sleds whatsoever. I've got a 4-wheel kit off my XCR that I've been meaning to put on this thing. If we'd ever get some more snow, we are so behind on snow right now, it's not even funny. And so I just haven't been riding snow machines like I want to. Oh, and it's a Pro Ride chassis, so you know what that means? It's got a drain plug for the chain case. Yay. Your air vents are here. Yeah. Pretty familiar. Oh, something I forgot to mention, another issue we had with it was this top gear. The teeth broke off. I didn't know until I got on the machine, and I think probably one of the kids were riding it, and they didn't say anything, and then I probably was in the yard and I went to move it, or anyway, I put it in reverse. I heard this like ratcheting sound. What the hell's a track ratcheting? You go forward, wouldn't hear the noise, and go in reverse, hear the noise. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So drained chain case oil, see some metal shavings, like, oh crap, and pulled the cover and found this. And this happened, I want to say it was that spring of 2020, that spring of 20. And I don't recall if I just replaced the gear or if the chain was okay and I just replaced this top gear, or if I had to replace everything. I never did submit under warranty. I should have, but it's all past now. Anyway, so that was an issue I had. The chain was tight. Who knows? Maybe just a manufacturing defect. Maybe just something you want to keep an eye out on yours.